Dean, what season number is this?
22, 23. I'm not sure. 22
It,
maybe. I don't know.
Season number ridiculous. Here we go again.
Yeah. They're all good, all exciting. Always the same feelings beforehand. So it's not a lot changes, but obviously looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, and it's been an immense summer for the club with regards to the players that have come in. I think at the tail end of last season there was an expectation that perhaps Harry and Scott might move on. That happened, but the players coming in, it's been well. I've never known a season like it, and I'm sure you haven't either.
Yeah, it's been a big turnover. Obviously the boys, we sort of had a feeling last year that sort of that'd be sort of 1 year together really with that team, and obviously when you had him, Matt and Fish leaving as well, and it was a big turnover from that team to this team. So a lot of new faces, and trying to integrate them into the team. But obviously last year we had the lone players where I think sometimes lone players can be subs and impact players. I think last season they were mostly starters and key players for us. So it's been a wholesale change really.
You've seen lots of pre-seasons, you've seen lots of seasons, you've seen a lot at Stadium MK, and before that, of course. It feels as if the club is positioning itself for promotion. Obviously, it came so close last season, but there seems to be year on year for the last few years. Certainly, there seems to be a real push forward, a progression in what the club is aiming for.
Yeah, we're looking to getting back to how we used to be, with a sort of an established top 10 team that would always be in a chance of getting that league. I think we needed to sort of last year was probably a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of doing that. It was just quite a spectacular year really, where everything just seemed to work. But I think the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes in terms of recruitment and the style that they're trying to go down, I think um, it'd be a model they're going to use of signing young players and trying to develop them. So it's very exciting. But I think just a word of caution that obviously young players, they need time, they need the environment to be right for them to come in and settle and to do well. So I think we should temper that with that they are young players, and while we're obviously very excited by their talent, it's not always a linear, straightforward progression. Sometimes there's bumps in the road, and we need to be there to support them during the season with that sort of journey that they're going to be on.
Is the role of captain and kind of ambassador for the club, and I know that that's not a title you would give yourself, but in amongst the players, when the new players come in, obviously a lot of people will turn to you, and you've had to integrate a lot of players into the side. Is it actually something you enjoy?
Not really, no. I don't know. Don't really like new people, so it's never great. No, it's good. It's always nice to see young boys come in, and you try and be as welcoming as you can, and sort of I think always try and lead by example, of how we train and how we do things, and what we expect, and you help where you can. I think naturally people find their own friendships and their own little groups, and I think sometimes it's best just to leave people to find their own natural place in the team. But obviously you're always there to help, and to help, especially at the start, to help them integrate into that sort of into the squad and the new people that they've come into.
Um, I've asked you these kind of questions so many times, Dean, and I feel I've probably earned the right to be able to ask you these kind of questions. But how much longer can you do this? How much longer can you keep playing? I mean, there was nothing in last season that suggested that you're slowing down in any way, shape, or form. You were a massive part of the club's success. You looked really good on the pitch. How long can you do this?
I don't know. It's not something I really think about or worry about. Really, it's just just take it sort of almost game by game, and see how I feel. I think at the moment I feel exactly the same as I did last season. I feel in a good place, and um, I think it's always, as long as I'm of value and I'm doing a job that the gaffer wants, and I'm happy. I think when it starts becoming about your age rather than your quality, then I think there's a problem. So as long as my quality is high enough to warrant a place in the team, then I'm happy to sort of keep going, and I think I know when the time's right, when it does come.
It'll be when the statue gets built. I think that's when the time will be, when the statue gets built. Listen, we talked about the integration of those players, and I think 13 players that have come in, and that includes kind of loan players and whatnot. And everyone would look at that. MK Dons fans are hugely confident going into this season, but of course, other sides have strengthened, and there's the sides that have come down from the Championship as well. It's on paper, people would say, all those signings, especially how they played last season, MK Dons are, definitely top four, definitely top, possibly promotion. But actually, there are a lot of other clubs, aren't there, that have strengthened. It is going to be a difficult league.
Yeah, I think the big teams historically in the league this year, they've all gone out and strengthened, and you've got Ipswich signing left backs for over £1 million. It kind of puts into perspective where we are in the sort of in the chain of things. So it'd be a very competitive league. I think it might be a split again, like it was last year, sort of top 10 and then the rest. I think that's the way it sort of panned out last year. And in those top 10, there's some, I think, all ex-Premier League teams and very big Championship teams in their own right, really. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but obviously we're confident in what we do and our style of play. And in terms of the players they brought in, they've got a model that they're trying to follow, and it's worked well so far, and hopefully it will continue.
Cheers, Dean. Have a good one.
Ta.
Opening days seem to have gone pretty well for MK Dons down the years. What is it about getting the season started that gets everybody going?
It's the first, isn't it? It's the season finishes and you have that long wait, and you're sort of training for 6 weeks, all gearing up to one game, and so it's that excitement of that first fixture, just to get back out and to get things off and running. And I think it's probably the game that all fans up and down the country look forward to. It's the whole thing starts again, and all the fun and excitement to follow.
Of course, it's a little bit different for you this time around compared to the way it was before the last first league game of the season, because obviously you were in charge of that one. Talk us through your feelings of how that sort of perception of being a manager for the day changed. Did it change anything in your way of approach of playing last season?
No, not in terms of playing. I think it gives you a deeper insight into how managers work and how much work goes on behind the scenes that I think sometimes as players we're a little bit unaware of. I'm quite a fortunate position, obviously, with my dad, that I've always sort of had that manager's lens in the family, where you understand that decisions aren't just made for one reason. There's always multiple reasons, and you try and do the greater good. But I think doing it for that week, it certainly opened my eyes to the stresses and the strains of what it takes to put a team out, and it's it's pretty hard.
You prefer playing, obviously, than to that management role, then, yeah?
It's nice walking off the training ground and just walking in and getting changed and see you tomorrow. I think the manager does that, and then they have to start planning for the day after, and and it's playing is definitely the way forward.
With Cambridge, it's obviously a tight, compact stadium. It's a tight, compact pitch. The atmosphere is always pretty bubbling. Dons fans are going there in great number. It's going to be a decent clash tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I think sort of to expect what happened last season. Really, I think that game was a tough game and could have gone either way. I think at a certain point. So we know they're a decent team, as you said. I think they're particularly strong at home. And they've got players that on their day can cause trouble. So it'd be a tough game, and obviously being the first day of the season as well, it's always chucks in a little bit more unpredictable. But I think it's one that we're looking forward to.
Nice one, thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Spoke earlier about having some new faces join the team. It must be nice then to have some familiar faces come back in Jamie Cumming, Will Grigg, and Ethan Robson.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been nice having Griggy back. Obviously, he can't stay away, can he? Griggy, he loves it here. So it was nice to see him come back, and you know, most importantly, they're very talented boys, but good lads as well behind closed doors. So 3 very influential figures. So it was nice to get them back in the building, and sort of helps the sort of continuity of the team and the club to sort of have, you know, a few faces around that were there last year and can help with their sort of experience of how we do it and like how we play and stuff. So it's good to have them back.
Obviously, speaking of experience, all the years that you've been playing, all the things you've seen in your career, do you ever get any nerves on opening day, or is it just pure excitement to get the season going?
Yeah, always nerves. Always any game there was that slight nervous tension around. But as well, I think everyone always looks forward to this day. You know, as I said earlier, we're back for 6 weeks, and the whole focus is on this first game, because everyone, that's their first game. We all look forward to it, and so for 6 weeks you've been building up for this one game. So it's been a long time coming, and you know, we're desperate to get out there and to start the season well.